Good evening. I call to order the meeting of the mayor and the Board of Trustees of the Village of Burr Ridge for Monday, September 9, 2024. As a last act as a sergeant, can I ask Sergeant Allen to lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sergeant. Shirley, roll call, please.
Trustee Francis?
Here.
Trustee Schiappa?
Here.
Trustee Paveza?
Here.
Trustee Snyder?
Here.
Really? Trustee Mattel? Here. Trustee Smith?
Here.
Mayor Grasso?
Here. Wow, she's brutal.
Observes a vote. Tough crowd. They'll be on the patch.
Okay, that'll take us, a little inside joke here. everybody. That'll take us to item 3, very special item 3 tonight, presentations and public hearing, the swearing-in ceremony of Deputy Chief David Allen III. Chief Loftus.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, Board of Trustees. I am pleased to announce that I have appointed David Allen as Deputy Chief of Police. Dave has been an integral part of our department for over 24 years, demonstrating exceptional leadership, dedication, and commitment to serving the department and the community. In this new role, Deputy Chief Allen will be responsible for assisting in overseeing the day-to-day operations of the department. He brings a wealth of experience and a deep understanding of the needs of the department and the needs of the community, which will be invaluable as we continue to provide the best in public safety and security for the village.
Shirley.
I, David Allen III, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Deputy Chief of Police according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, well done.
Congratulations.
Can we get a couple pictures?
Sure.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Thanks, Chief.
Yep.
Is that getting stuck by his wife? The band?
No.
Okay.
I thought that was. I mean, it's only a chiefy thing.
And the crowd is gone.
Did I say something wrong? They all left.
No.
I almost forgot that really. I just had to pop it in.
Okay, that'll take us to item 4, the consent agenda. An item shall be removed from the consent agenda at the request of any one trustee or anyone present at the meeting. Those items marked with an asterisk are considered to be on the consent agenda. A roll call shall be taken on the approval of the consent agenda and recorded in the minutes as an omnibus vote. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be discussed by the board, opened for public comment, and voted upon during the meeting. 5, minutes A, approval of regular board meeting of August 26, 2024. 6, ordinances C, approval of an ordinance denying 2 variation requests from section 4J of the zoning ordinance to permit 1, a fence in the front yard of a single-family residence, and 2, a fence less than 50% open, VO1 2024, 15W 765, 80th Street, LeConte. D, approval of an ordinance approving a variation from section 4J of the zoning ordinance to permit a fence in the corner side yard of a single-family residence, VO1 2024, 15W 765, 80th Street, LeConte. E, approval of an ordinance approving a special use request from zoning ordinance section 4J for a fence on a corner lot to permit a fence in the interior side lot, Z12 2024, 8461 Carlisle Court, Haley. 7, resolutions. A, approval of a resolution supporting the village's Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, the ITEP program, grant application for the Madison Street Route 66 Streetscape Project. 8, considerations. B, approval of an award of contract to Thomas Engineering Group of Aurora, Illinois for design engineering services related to the 62nd Street and Cove Creek Water Main Improvement Project in the amount of $55,606. C, approval of a proclamation designating October as Arts DuPage Month in the Village of Burr Ridge. D, approval of a separation notice of Utilities Supervisor Peter Guth. And E, approval of vendor list dated December 9, 2024 for the fiscal year 2025 in the amount of $151,018.85 for all funds, plus $231,662.71 for payroll period ending August 31, 2024 for a grand total of $382,681.56. With that, can I get a motion to approve the following items on the consent agenda? 5A, 6, C, D, and E, 7A, 8, B, C, D, and E.
So moved.
We have a movement, trustee Schiappa. We have a second, trustee Schneider. Any discussion at the board level? Any comment or questions or discussions from the public? Roll call, please.
Trustee Schiappa.
Yes.
Trustee Schneider.
Yes.
Trustee Mattel.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Paveza.
Yes.
6-0.
6-0, the motion passes. That takes us to 6 ordinances. A, consideration of an ordinance amending paragraph 8 of section 25.09 entitled Class of Licenses, Number of Licenses, Hours of Chapter 25 Liquor Control of the Burr Ridge Municipal Code. Who's going to handle this? Evan?
Thank you, Mayor. Fairly straightforward request. This was made by Cooper's Hawk. They're seeking to have the village amend our liquor code to move the Sunday commencement of liquor service back 1 hour from 11 a.m. to 10 a.m., only on Sundays. As you can see from the summary, the village already permits 6 a.m. beginning of service from Monday to Saturday. So we have experience with morning liquor service in the village. We have not experienced any issue with any morning service in any restaurant. And again, this is primarily motivated by Cooper's Hawk in their request to expand their on-premise consumption at their Sunday brunch menu by 1 hour.
And that you just said the magic word. These are brunch items usually.
Right.
Your Bloody Mary or your mimosa type of thing that many of the other places also have. Okay, with that, can I get a motion to approve an ordinance amending paragraph 8 of section 2509 entitled Class of Licenses, Number of Licenses, Hours of Chapter 25 Liquor Control of the Burr Ridge Municipal Code?
So moved.
A
Second.
movement. We have a second. Any discussion at the board level? Any comment or questions from the public? Roll call, please.
Trustee Paveza.
Yes.
Trustee Mattel.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Francis.
Yes.
Trustee Schiappa.
Yes.
Trustee Snyder.
Yes.
6-0.
6-0, the motion passes. 6B, consideration of an ordinance denying a special use request from zoning ordinance section 4J for a fence on a corner lot to permit 1, a fence in the interior side yard, and 2, a fence within the corner side yard setback, Z11, 2024, 8223 Windsor Court, Sabaya Sukari? Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to recuse myself from this.
Okay. You want to state the reason?
They're my neighbors, so
Okay.
I don't want it to be perceived.
Understood. Thank you for that. Let the record show that trustee Mattal has recused herself from this item. Janine, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. So at the August 26, 2024 meeting, the board directed staff to prepare an ordinance to deny the request for the special use for the fence in the corner side yard. After that meeting on August 30th, we received an email from the petitioner stating that they wished to amend their request and have it remanded back to the Plan Commission. The petitioner also requested that the item not be on tonight's consent agenda, which is why it has been pulled from the consent. The petitioner is present tonight, and I can also answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. First of all, let's see if any questions right now from any trustees. Anybody have a question yet? Okay, yes.
What is the nature of the amendment?
I'll let the petitioner speak to that, but it was a request that they were going to be moving the fence closer to the house, it is my understanding.
So educate me a little bit. They want to now amend it, and so what's the proper procedure here? Will we just take this off? And remand? Yeah. All right, why don't we briefly hear from the petitioner? Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi board. My name is Abdul Shukari,
And I'm Lynn Sabai.
and we're, as Janine stated, we're requesting to have it remanded to the Board of Commissions. Given that there were some reservations from the commission board and the trustees, as I understand it, couldn't make the last meeting, but so we're making some adjustments per the recommendation of the commission board in hopes to discuss it with them and get approval.
Would you give us a little idea of what
So
was requested and what is now different?
So we had requested a 9-foot setback as part of the special use request. And the commission, some of the board members of the commission had stated that they felt that that was too aggressive. And so, we're looking to basically get that fence as close to the corner of the home without, obstructing, or there's basically some trees and things that would have to be either removed or something if we were to stay in that corner lot. So we're going to have it somewhere in between, and so that's why we're asking for it to be remanded.
Okay, so it's just about the setback, and instead of 9 feet, what is your proposal going to be?
Yeah, 12 feet,
12 feet.
correct.
And what does it require now, Janine?
It would be 30 feet.
And, none of us want to give the Plan Commission any more work than it already has on its plate. Was there enough sentiment expressed at the Plan Commission level that it would give due consideration to such a request?
I cannot obviously speak on behalf of the Plan Commission, but there were 2 commissioners who had voted not in support of the request that were concerned about just how close it was to that 83rd Street setback. The other 3 voted in support of the request, but I don't know what that number would be from 9 to 12, if that would be obviously enough to sway their votes.
And there were 3 missing. Is that correct? 3 commissioners?
Yes, there were 3 commissioners absent.
Yeah.
And there were 3 absent?
Correct. Yeah, so the vote, the commission board vote was 3 votes in favor and 2 that had denied it. And so we did not meet the threshold of 4 votes since they didn't have a full commission board at the time.
We do not have a commissioner here tonight as a representative?
No.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
So just a reminder, just to clarify, 7 commissioners to vote on the request. So there are 8, 1 is an alternate.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
You hear the petitioner. By the way, you're the owners of the property,
Correct.
Okay, again, anybody have any thoughts on this? Or can we get a motion to remand it to the plan commission? Joe?
I'll remand it back to them, because it's 9 to 12. Doesn't seem like it was 9 to 20, okay, maybe, but
I'm sorry, Joe, I can't hear you.
not going 9 to 20 or something more. I mean, 9 to 12 is, the setbacks are normally 30. It doesn't seem like we're moving too much, so send it back to the planning commission, let them have their full votes.
If we denied it, could they then just petition again, but for a lesser amount?
Yes.
No.
They gotta wait.
You gotta wait a year.
A year.
So if you're denied tonight, you gotta wait a year. That's in our
Right,
laws.
so that's part of the reason for our request to remand.
That part's understood now, thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, we have a motion to remand, is there a second? Wait a minute. We have a motion to remand, is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
Who's second?
Tony did, all right, trustee Francis.
I'm struggling with going from 9 feet to 12 feet. To me, that doesn't seem substantive enough. If they were requesting 25 feet setback instead of the required 30 feet, that's a different story, but this is hardly even noticeable. To me,
Right, that's why
it's just not a
I'm-
lot.
We have a motion and a second, any further comment? Yes,
Yeah, I'm struggling with this. This topic was up in front of us last meeting. We voted it down. And now we are changing our mind as a board. I guess our discussion from last meeting doesn't count. Doesn't,
well, I don't know
we're gonna
that we're
give the
changing our
plan
mind.
commission more work on the same subject.
I think that's a valid point, especially when you're talking, and I do agree with trustee Francis, and maybe the majority of you, or all of you, 9 to 12, and to me is not substantive when you're talking about a 30-foot setback. So in light of that,
Yeah, if I may, Mayor. So part of the reason.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, go
Sorry.
ahead, speak on it.
Yeah, so part of the reason that we came to this 12-foot setback, request is as we stated, and we'd like to show the commission board, is that there is a tree that we would literally be cutting halfway through. And so it's at least, let's call it 6 to 10 feet away from the tree. And then there's also a walkway. But my understanding was part of that discussion was going to be with the commission board. And it does not negate, the discussion that you had on, August 26th. My understanding also is if the commission board approves it, it would still come back to this board for final approval.
Right, and our point is that, we're all busy and we're all public servants, and we do this, but to me, I'm in agreement with trustee Francis, something that is a 30-foot requirement that you were now denied at 9, and now you want to go to 12, which isn't even half. Why do we want the plan commission to spend more time on this? I'm trying to hear your reasoning, but I don't understand why we should send something back to the plan commission, which is not, in my opinion, a substantial change. I mean, that's what you're gonna propose, a 12-foot setback instead of a 9, right? Correct?
Correct. Yeah, and while we
All right.
appreciate everyone's time, we're not trying to, have a back and forth about 1 or 2 or 3 feet. I think part of the reason that we want to remand it is that there was, there were votes in favor at the commission board, and we felt that had there been a full commission board and some of these, the 9 to 12 feet actually was a point of, discussion at the commission board level. And so we felt that if we had, if we adjust, the plan, that there might have been more board members in favor.
Let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
Why are you seeking this? For what? What is it about your lifestyle on your property? How will this give you better enjoyment? What are you trying to accomplish?
So really, ultimately, what we're trying to accomplish is the safety of our children. We have 2 little ones. And, the fact that we're so close to 83rd Street, especially from, the driveway access. It's just something that's extremely concerning, even though our eyes are always on them. It's never something that we want to endanger our children.
Yeah.
um,
I guess I
from
said
being so
one more
close.
question, but typical lawyer, I've got more. So why can't you do a 20-foot setback? Why can't you do a 15-foot setback?
Yeah, so as we stated, I think really it was the tree, the walkway. I mean, putting a gate on against the tree doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if there's gonna be access to the driveway.
Also, we wanted to hide it as much as possible in
Yeah.
between the trees so it doesn't show.
Yeah,
So we don't want you guys to see it or the neighbors to see it. So
Yeah,
that's
the other
why.
reason for that number, as I think my wife stated last time to this board and the commission board, is that the location of the fence will actually be in between the tree line. I don't know if there's a picture or not, but
Yeah,
it
picture's worth
effectively,
1,000 words. Let's see what you're talking about here.
yeah, it's effectively nestled in between,
Trees.
all the trees, and this will hopefully prevent any destruction of any current vegetation that exists.
Okay, sir, give us a moment just to
Sure.
see.
What?
It's amazing.
Fast you do this.
So what,
What do I do all day? That's as good as I got.
Or at the top, I want to see.
Okay?
An aerial view. Uh-huh.
okay.
And I'm just gonna broadly, never mind.
So where
That's
does he
the
want this, where does he want this fence?
So this fence, here, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it this way, just because it's a little bit simpler to see. This is the front of their house,
Yeah.
and as we saw last week, the original proposal was basically gonna run down this garden line. This is 83rd over here.
Yeah.
This is north, this is south. What they're basically saying is instead of doing it on this garden line, it will be 3 feet in from the garden line. Is that just an accurate statement? I just
Yeah,
want to generally
pretty much,
portray
yeah.
it. So instead of being there-ish, it'll be there-ish. And I think what I heard the petitioner say was that if it were hugging closer to 83rd Street, it would not be as visible from Windsor Court.
Correct.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, nor really, I think 83rd, but yeah, correct.
And again, the fence is, this is their lot here, and the fence is, there's a small amount here covering an AC joint, but that's not probative. It would come down here into the corner side yard, and if this white power line is, just for academic purposes, the property line, it would have to be 30 feet off of that property line under normal circumstances. Their current petition is 9, and their testimony tonight is that it will move 3 further feet away and be 12 away, but still 18 feet inside the setback,
Okay, so
And
what is
so-
allowed?
30 feet.
You point it out for me.
So if this is, if from here we go. So from there to there, so there's 30, it's 30.2, but work with me. So that would be what you're normally allowed, and I don't think that's exact.
I think you should point it out from the front elevation, because I believe that the house is built on the 30-foot setback.
Yeah, it is.
The south elevation,
Yeah, I was gonna say, it looks pretty close. So if you look at the front of the
the front
house,
elevation, please.
Okay?
so,
30 feet would be at the edge of the garage.
yeah,
Is that correct?
Correct. Basically correct. So again, 30 feet would be by the garage, and then it would be moving toward the street that way. Again, on the 12-foot line,
So basically the end of the house. It goes straight.
Correct.
more or less, yes.
we have a motion and a second, and yes, I'm sorry. Well, Al, let's hear from Al.
Well, the only, one exception or so isn't a problem. Do we have any idea how this is gonna affect us for future, references? Are people gonna be coming in and using this as an example?
You can always make that argument one way or the other.
Yeah.
This is a unique situation, some people would say, others would say.
Street could ask for the same.
Yeah, there's property across the street could ask for the same thing, as council just pointed out. Whenever you do something, there's always the idea that it sets a precedent. We have a 30-foot setback for a reason. The builder must have,
It was 40 foot. And this lot and other lots along 8th Street were given a relief to 30 feet.
right, and so they built the house right on the 30-foot setback.
Guy's got a question.
Yes, Guy?
What I'm hearing the petitioner say is that his backyard isn't safe unless he has his variance. Is that right?
I mean, for our children to be out there, yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the.
It's not safe unless you
safest.
have this variance. You can't build the fence within the current ordinance. If you did, your backyard wouldn't be safe. Is that what you're saying?
Well, as I pointed out, it's a little bit difficult to see there, but if we had gone to the corner of the house, there is a tree. I don't know if you guys are able to see it, but it basically, we'd have to chop that tree off. I don't know if it's visible behind the fireplace, but
I don't see the tree.
yeah.
Right there, yeah, it's a pretty big tree.
Right. Yeah, that right there. So.
Well, I've seen fences go around trees. Happens all the time, so.
And if I may, with regards to the.
Okay, we have a motion to remand and a second. All the motion, if approved, would be to remand it back to the Plan Commission for it to make a new determination, because you're gonna amend it. Yes, Guy?
Would a new public notice be required? A new public notice for the neighbors?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so, because you have not formally approved or denied this current ordinance.
But they're changing their request.
That is true. We could renotice just for,
No, I don't know.
I can talk with our legal counsel to verify.
It's always safe to give new notice.
Yeah, I was gonna just say
I think the
that.
answer would be yes, because the public hearing's been closed
Yep.
at the Plan Commission level, so the answer would be yes.
Answer's yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's the safest course. We have a motion and a second. Any comment further from the board? Yes, Tony?
Well, if it goes back to the plan commission, I think they're probably gonna follow our ordinance to keep it at 30 feet. I mean, I don't see the hardship. I mean, you've got all that backyard that you can fence in. I don't see what that additional 15 feet you need. I mean, you can keep it safe, keep your children safe inside of that area. So it's just gonna come back to us again,
Could be. I don't know.
or we just,
Well, it'll ultimately come back to you.
It always has, it has to come back.
right.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further comment?
A yes is to remand and a no is to deny
And
the
then-
motion to remand, and then you still would have to consider the main question.
I get that?
Say that
Okay.
again.
So there's a motion to remand. If that passes, if you vote yes, and there's a majority vote on that, it goes back to the Plan Commission. If there's not a majority vote on that, then it's been denied. Then we take up the denial again.
And then Mike, point of order, how many do they need to actually approve it? Is it 4 or a majority of those voting?
You need, to pass an ordinance, you need 4 votes.
The remand is not an ordinance.
The remand is a majority.
A majority.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
we have a motion and a second. We've had discussion at the board level. Roll call, please.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Schiappa?
Yes.
Trustee Pavesa?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
No.
Trustee Francis?
No?
So we have 3
You
to
gotta
2.
call Anita, and she's gonna have to abstain on the record.
Right.
You gotta call her.
Trustee
Abstain.
Mattel?
So 3-2,
Yes.
so it passes.
Is,
Yes,
point of order?
yes.
Is it, if a trustee chooses not to vote, is that trustee to vote present or to abstain from voting? I believe if it's voting, if they abstain, that vote then carries with the majority, is that correct?
Yes.
it counts as with the majority, so it's a 4-2 in effect, but it's 3-2 sends it back to, remands it to the plan commission.
And if the trustee votes present, then there's no vote, correct? It's still 3-2.
It's still 3-2, right?
Thank
So-
you.
But abstaining would be appropriate to recusal.
Yes,
Right.
but it appears that the motion to
Would pass
remand
anyhow.
is passed. And
Okay, so,
if it was 3-2 no vote, it would count that way also.
Oh, I understand.
all right, 3-2, motion passes, remanded back to the plan commission with new notices to go out, Janine. Thank you, we'll see what happens. Okay, more fence issues. We need to look at the fence ordinance and try to do the best we can to either amend it, come up with some new ideas, but
It's pretty, I mean, I put a fence up, and,
Straightforward.
yeah.
or just enforce it. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I've lost my place.
6B.
6B?
That was 6.
That was 6B.
No,
That's
sorry,
right.
6A.
So now we're on 8?
8A.
8A, okay. 8A, consideration of the resignation notice of Board of Fire and Police Commissioner Chairman John Navikas. John sent me an email this week for personal reasons and health reasons. He feels he can't put the time in that he has put in diligently for many years. We have a debt to John Navikas for all the hard work he's done. Another asset that the village of Burr Ridge has had for many years. And so it's appropriate to put that on the record, to note that he's resigning, and for me as the mayor, on your behalf too, to give him all the thanks and credit for all he's done for all these years. Okay?
He's done a good job for a long time.
He has. He has, Al, as you well know, and all of the rest of the trustees know.
If you want to do any official action, you could just do a motion to receive and file.
Okay.
That way it'll get in your minutes under that.
All right. Motion to receive and file the resignation notice of Board and Fire Police Commissioner Chairman John Navikas. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And a second? Any comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. All right, that takes us to item 9, public comment. Is there any public comment? The record show no public comment. Reports and communications from village officials. Anita, welcome back.
All right, well, thank you. Looks like everyone had a fabulous summer. The concert season was very well received. Taste of Burr Ridge was a success, and so was the car show. Next, we have 2 events to bring this year to an end. Mecca Moves is coming up on September 21st. There's a 5K race and a 1K race. Early registration is done, so we only have late registration, which is open now. It is $35 for children, $45 for adults. All proceeds from Mecca Moves go to DuPage Pads, which is a charity which helps homeless people. And then we have Deck the Green on 11/22 from 5 to 7 at the Village Green. So look
Great.
forward to seeing everyone there.
Great. Thank you. Yes, Russ?
I think we need to let the public know that we have the Sip and See happening on Thursday, September 19th at the Village Center. That's the unveiling celebration at 4:30. Then there's wine, beer, and cocktails walk from 5 to 7. And then we have a live concert from 7 to 8. So it looks like a really fun time in our own Village Center.
Yep, thank you. It's right on my list, but thank you for doing that. Anybody else? Evan, I'm going to turn it over to you at this point. I'd like Evan to publicize the explanation for the $2 million error in the favor of the village. I believe you all read his very lengthy explanation, but I do think we should give the public a little bit more information. Evan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. So about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a law passed in the state of Illinois called the Level the Playing Field Act. And for lack of a better word, what that means is that law is something that created an online retail sales tax. So in basic terms, while you may buy something on Amazon in Burr Ridge, the Amazon factory is not in Burr Ridge. Before this, it was only the physical location of the place where the transaction occurred, where the sales tax actually was registered. So you go to Naperville and buy a refrigerator, you would pay sales tax to Naperville and nowhere else. But that changed the Levels the Playing Field Act about 7 years ago. Every month, the state provides a report to all municipalities regarding disbursements of local government sales tax. In June 2024, the report indicated that the village received about $2.4 million, when normally we receive about $300,000. So naturally, this was much more than the normal course of action. We looked into it a little bit further. We contacted the state. The state is the purveyor of all sales taxes in the state of Illinois. We actually pay a small administrative fee, as all towns do legally, for them to administer the sales tax on our behalf. The state indicated that the state itself had recently won a court case against a company, and I can't provide the specifics under state law, who had basically won a case against them for lack of sales tax payment. And one of the caveats of that Level the Playing Field sales tax is it also is levied against out-of-state businesses with no market nexus, so an out-of-state company that doesn't have a physical brick and mortar presence with customers presence, but it does have some physical presence. And essentially what had happened was a company that had been operating a mail post operation with a retail operation was located here in Burr Ridge, so essentially a P.O. box with no people, no goods coming through, had been booking their sales to the village of Burr Ridge for many years, but wasn't paying sales tax on it. And so when pressed, ultimately what that meant was this company had not paid about $2 million to the village of Burr Ridge in back taxes that they had been contesting under their interpretation of the level saying the Playing Field Sales Tax Act. This company did close their operations after they paid, so we're not going to get any further revenue from this. However, it's not a bad one-time deal for us to get. We're about a $12 million general fund, so $2 million is quite a nice bonus to get during the summer.
And the check cleared.
And the check cleared.
It was the first question I asked.
So sales tax lags 3 to 4 months from the state, depending on the type of sales tax. So because this was notified in June, it will actually be reflected in the audit and our budget in FY24. We're in FY25 now. So that's why you'll see a fairly large surplus in FY24. We were already planning to run a small surplus, but now it's a $2.1 million surplus that we'll have reflected on our books. So a good thing for us. That money's been deposited into our one of our generic checking accounts that invests money for us over time, so it hasn't been spent. It can be easily recalled for any purpose the board sees fit, but otherwise it's acting as an investment vehicle for us at this time. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to elaborate or answer them. Thank you.
Anybody have a question? Okay.
I had another comment.
Sure.
If I may. Okay. So, I mean, the last few meetings, we've been talking about fences. I was telling Evan that it's like a defense meeting again. So, but.
I like that.
Yeah. But, so, which brings me to think about it, and, you know, we want our residents to feel safe and comfortable, and everyone who's coming to us has young kids, and, you know, there is a reason why they need a fence. And I know the Planning Commission also has rules, and they have to stick by those rules. But, I mean, I'm just trying to see if there's an opportunity, and I don't want to give the Planning Commission more work than they have, but, you know, if we can revisit the fence ordinance or see if we can have different rules or see if they're relevant, but something that would help more residents, and I don't know, maybe, I mean, if we can find a solution, which is a happy medium.
Yep, on the same page with you. Evan and I have been discussing that, and
Right.
as we always do an annual review of the ordinances, this is going to take some priority because defense, I like that. We've been getting a lot of defense motions up here, and by the way, it is Monday Night Football
Right.
opening tonight. But we are going to take that up. Yes, Guy?
I believe the fence ordinance was reviewed by the Plan Commission earlier this spring, is that not correct? So the Plan Commission, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, no, that is correct. So it was specifically for the fences on corner lots. And I would just ask the board to have some, we'll say parameters, some guardrails of things that you would want the Plan Commission to look at. Would it be permitting fences in front yards and side yards, less than 50% open? So looking at our standards that we currently have and what the board's direction would be to change those things.
So here's what I'm gonna ask you to do, Janine. Go ahead.
I wasn't finished, thank you.
Sure.
So fences in corner yards, corner yards were looked at, and the last three variance requests we've had were for fences in corner yards. And the Plan Commission found that they weren't, they took a long look at that and made any necessary modifications that they need to make. So we're asking them to look at this again?
No.
No?
I don't think that we would do that. Here was going to, I'm sorry, are you done?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So would you put into the categories, various categories of fences that come up? It's the side yard. I don't think there's any appetite right now for front yard fences. Let's not open that Pandora's box, okay? But let's look at the various categories, side, et cetera, 3, 4, whatever they are, and give a brief summary of what the issues tend to be, and then circulate them amongst the 6 trustees and me, and give us, and then I'd like your comments back within 2 weeks on some of the issues. What do you think they are? And we'll have a little back and forth and see if there's some consensus. Because I do again agree with Guy, we shouldn't be asking the Plan Commission to look at this again unless there's some real guidance from the board. And I don't think we even need to do that. I think we'll keep it at the staff level for a while. Not that you don't have anything to do every day, but we'll keep it at the staff level and see if there's some traction, some real meat on the bones to send it back then for comments to the Plan Commission. So we're not, we're giving them some direction. And maybe we'll come to some consensus of just leave it alone. But let's start there, see where it goes before anything gets back to the Plan Commission. Is that okay with everyone? Okay? All right. Thank you. Okay, now my comments were, Gower School District asked me to say a little something about their 20th anniversary district motto. The 2024-2025 school year for Gower marks the 20th anniversary of the Gower School District motto, which is children at their best. And the Gower Board of Education is in the early stages of a strategic planning effort as they head into the next quarter of the 21st century. If you are part of the Gower community and are interested in taking part in a core stakeholder team made up of about 35 to 45 board members, please contact the district, and you can go to their website and let them know by September 24th by completing the form, the interest form on their website. Now, they didn't, which would be www.gower62.com. And I think we'll put something on our website for a couple of weeks just to let people know. And it's already up, see? There you go. So it sounds like a nice project. We talked about the 2 million, thank you. That dovetails into the story that I circulated amongst you about the couple of hundred frogs that ended up in various areas of the village hall due to the heavy rains. And so we were in need of a new village hall for some time. So Evan and I are going to be giving you some ideas of where we might want to start looking, and some ideas of what might happen to this building. But the idea of a new village hall has to move up high on our priority list, in my opinion. And so Evan and I will be giving you some alternatives. Like anything else, a new village hall will cost money. But we are in a very enviable position as a village, and now we're even $2 million flush. That doesn't mean we just go and spend money, of course. But I make that point because the fact that we are in need of a village hall, which, by the way, the space study showed 15 years ago we were in a need for a new village hall. The fact that that now is taking on more momentum. The other fact that's good is that we're in a very secure cash position and fiscal position. So we'll have some options for the 6 of you to consider. Trustee Smith pointed out the downtown ceremony. The Village Center does intend to have a nice big party on September 19th at 4:30. A little ribbon cutting and some festivities, as Russ pointed out. So, you know, if you're in the area, can stop by. I think they did a marvelous job. I was skeptical at times, but I think they've done some neat things down there. Once they get the parking and some of the logistics figured out, I think it'll be great. The new Mexican food restaurant down there, I've got nothing but rave reviews. People love sitting outside there and eating their food. I think this will be a plus for Pella now too, and some others. So if you can make it, try to make it about 4:30 on September 19th. And just, I've gotten a couple calls and emails, and there's been a couple stories about the Zaffer situation on County Line Road, again, another fence ordinance. I just want the public to know that the village staff is working with the Zaffer family to figure out something to address the need and the safety condition, public safety being the number one thing. So staff is working with the Zaffer family to see how we can accommodate their requirements, even though their request was turned down. So we're still addressing that problem. And on a final note, not a happy note, but a final note, the law firm of Storino, Romello, and Durkin, our attorneys, Michael Durkin, named partner, sustained a serious loss of Tom Bastian. Many of you have worked with Tom over the years. Sudden loss. And anybody that knew Tom knew that they knew a great lawyer and a very serious person who would return your call immediately and do a stellar job. So on behalf of the Village of Burr Ridge, we extend our condolences to the Storino firm for the loss of Tom Bastian, and also, of course, to his family for that loss. With that, can I get a motion to adjourn to September 23rd? Maybe? We'll see if we need a motion, if we need a.
So moved.
A motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned, thank you.